What is the importance of personal and business branding? How important is self-disruption? What is the legacy you'd like to leave behind? The power and importance of social networking to provide to you a connected experience. Join us on our Golden Jubilee 50th episode part 1, coming to you at 11 a.m. Singapore time with all the other corresponding time zones listed below.
Hello and welcome to our 50th Golden Jubilee episode of Create the Edge. Here's Joy, my amazing co-founder and co-host, and it is our pleasure. And I'm nervous. I'm actually nervous, Joy. What about you?
I don't know if I could use the word, but I guess I'll be alive. So I'm just going to say I got major amount of butterflies in my stomach, but the excitement is pumping adrenaline like crazy. This is Havoc. Technology meets hearts and minds. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, and LinkedIn viewers. We are on our 50th episode, and we've got a fantastic lineup for you, starting from the opening act. All yours, Yusuf.
There you go. So to start it off, we've got the Chief Gravity Defier, aka the Iron Man of branding, David Breyer, all the way from the United States of America. Not to be left behind, we've got the Superman of content creation, Randy Heller, the master writer, joining us all the way from the United States as well. Then we've got Steve Sullivan. He's the specialist in storytelling and just one of the most genuine people I've known, a master in personal branding, and basically a brilliant person to connect with. And last but not the least, I've got my dear friend, Dino Pacella, the 007 of branding.
007.
It is such a pleasure. It is such a pleasure to have you guys on board. And I mean, just seriously, I mean, I was so nervous last night. I couldn't sleep. I only had like a couple of hours, and it was really, really cool. So, Joy, anything you'd like to say?
Well, I'm just looking at David, Randy, Steve, and Dino. I'm looking at the lineup. We've spoken to them 4 or 5 months ago, and I'm like blinking my eyes. Is this real? This is live. We are together, guys. Thank you so much. And I think we're getting a huge amount of track coming on the live right now. So rock and roll. Dino, maybe you'd like to kick it off with personal branding.
There you go. So what we wanted to actually ask our 4 superstars out here is like, their inputs regarding how important personal and business branding is. So absolutely, Dino, you are the best person to speak about personal branding, mate, flipping the M in me into we.
Yeah.
Thanks, Yusuf, and thanks for having us on the show. And there's
pleasure.
It's fantastic to be on with such great guys. I mean, I see everybody across the platform, so it's awesome to actually meet people face to face and learn and come. And this is my first LinkedIn Live too, so thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, I think when we talk about personal branding, I think you need to scrap the rules and try and remove yourself away from that fear factor and that social anxiety that people have when it comes to social media, and that, oh my God, what are people going to think of me? So if you scrap all the rules, you need to have this strategy, you need to network this way, you need to target lead gen this way, and actually just be yourself and endeavor to add one piece of information to one person every single day. And I know I've said that previously on different video content and different posts alike, but it really rings true. And if you see all the, I suppose if you want to call them influencers, I like to call them impactors, like the guys are on the line at the moment.
Lovely, love it.
But these are the people that are doing it. There's no crap, there's no bullshit, excuse the language, but it's true. Authenticity, it's real. And if you make a mistake in a video, you don't have to sit there and re-record it 15 times and just do it. I know I've seen Dave on Insta Live as well before. It's so real. And I'm great that I can represent Australia in this little platform of 6 people and showcase a little bit around my authenticity. But if that's the one piece of advice I'll leave people, it's, be yourself. If you stuff up, who cares? Because we are all human.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Couldn't have said it better. And I'm gonna right away go over to a dear friend, Randy. Mate, You're under the spotlight, mate. You're wearing
It's
red.
like rolling dice to decide who goes next, or what's going on?
That's all right. That's all right. We were just playing. Tag. You're it.
All right. So I put some thought into this today, and and it seems like and it's funny. I've been out here building my personal brand, for about a year now, and it felt like there's a new wave of people, hitting LinkedIn that are building their profiles and their personal brands, and it seems like a lot of them have been given the advice to be authentic, right? That's like in the hustle and grind handbook is be authentic. And my response to that is just please don't, because I'm a little tired of the word authentic. I think it's getting overused, and it reminds me of back when organic used to mean something. You'd go into the store and there'd be these eggs over here that were just the normal eggs, and these eggs were the organic eggs. And if you like the chickens and you're willing to pay twice as much, you could get the good eggs, the good organic eggs. But then the egg industry figured out that people were willing to buy organic eggs, and they just started slapping that label on everything that that was laid by chickens that weren't fed poison, right? So now it has to be organic, cage-free, pasture raised, free range. It has to be all of that in order for it to be good eggs. And I kind of feel like that's what's happened to the word and even the idea of authentic. It used to mean something, but now marketers have co-opted it, and it doesn't mean as much anymore. So my advice would be to, sit down, make a list of the 10 things that mean, that would spell out authentic for you, whatever those are. And it shouldn't be the same list that anybody else would make, right? It shouldn't be something you could Google or that your mentor would give you. What are those things that really, that it means to be authentic? And then follow those 10 things and just scrap the word authentic, whether that means, you do what you say you're going to do, you help other people, whatever that is, you be yourself. And don't get hung up on trying to be authentic, because if you're trying to be authentic, well, then that's the exact opposite of what authentic means, right? If you're trying to live up to somebody's idea of what authenticity is, then you're just being fake, and people will recognize that you're trying too hard. They won't trust you. They probably won't want to do business with you. So my advice, and it's somewhat controversial, is don't be authentic. I would challenge you. I would dare you not to be authentic. Be real, be you, be cage free, be free range, be positive, be kind, be helpful, be generous, be all those things, but don't try to be authentic, because at this point, that's probably the least original thing you could do right now.
Exactly.
Because everybody's trying to be authentic.
I couldn't agree with you more, Randy, because if you're actually trying to be authentic, that means you're actually not being authentic, right? Because to be authentic, it has to come from within. It's not something that you can actually sort of just switch on and switch off. It's something that it should be natural, right? Exactly. And that's the main thing. Thank you so much, Randy. And Steve, how have you been? I absolutely love your amazing, touching stories, especially to do with you being able to connect with people, and you're one of the best human connectors that I have come across, and that just basically confirms the fact that how good you are at connecting. And the only reason a person can actually connect with another person is if they are authentic, as Randy said, and as Dino was mentioning. You just have to be yourself, because that is what people like. They don't like facades. Be human. So Steve, your opinion on that?
Okay, well, I will try and stay away from the word authentic, since we're overdoing it, and just tell you a little bit about my branding, because I'm sure there's people out there who may be watching this who have been in the audience of LinkedIn and haven't jumped into the community and gotten involved. And I want to encourage them to get involved. And if you look at the number of content creators, you'll find different people you can model after. For me, I simply did it for myself, not for others. I set out to have the goal of, hey, if I create these videos, maybe I can improve my public speaking. And as I created these videos, I quickly learned something. It's not how articulate you are, or whether you flub words, or whether you pause too much. It's not your voice that people want to hear. It's your heart that they want to hear. And when you can speak from your heart, it gives them an opportunity to know you. It gives them an opportunity to maybe have their hearts resonate with you. A reality that is missing in our world of hype and false marketing and fake news, all those things. We crave that action. And so I've tried to make my content cater to that. Now, another tip I would give to those that are thinking of personal branding is to consider creating tags you used. If you look at the content creators, you'll find almost all of them have a hashtag moniker. Some of them are personal. For example, Jill Sullivan has hashtag Chef Sullivan or Solly. Lila Smith has a business one, Things Better. Jamie Cohn, the same thing. Hashtag the right words. Two articulate and effective communicators as women, and very special people to get to know. As I started to think about, okay, what should I name myself? For those of you that know Mimi, the hashtag 3 Magic Beans, she dubbed me hashtag Steve TV. And I thought, well, that's kind of unique. So I started using that for a couple months, making probably my first mistake, which is I didn't research that hashtag. And after a couple of months, I started and found out that that hashtag was already used by Steve Harvey, the talk host and guy who is very, very sensational on his talk shows, and my post, his posts were things like, "Hey, we're looking for who doesn't know who the father is. Their boy, big reveal." Oh, great! Actually, what I wanted me was that I had something else.
Man, love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. That is so funny, actually. See, and that just goes on to what Randy was saying. That and Dino was saying, you know, and you just have to be you, right? You've got to be very careful as to what you're actually trying to reflect into your own life. You know, don't try to copy others. You know, just be yourself, and that's just so important in personal branding. I mean, obviously, Steve, in no way do you look like a pregnant woman. So there you go.
Thank you.
So mate, I really appreciate your share, mate. So appreciative of that. And David. Big man David, mate, would love your inputs on the importance of personal and business branding.
Yeah, let's get the intervention going here.
Okay, well, first of all, just to tap onto what Randy said, I'm an advocate of genuine non-artificiality as opposed to authenticity. Okay.
Genuine non-artificiality. Note that down, guys. That's a new one.
That's brilliant.
That's the cage 3 in this case. Yeah.
We can turn that into a hashtag.
So, it's very, first of all, I'll try and make it very really snapshot. A few things. One is people look to me and they say, "Oh, David, you're like you brand companies, you brand services. What's between that and personal branding?" I say, well, you know, bottom line is, if you actually understand what branding is, that question goes away. What that is this: at the end result of communication any of us is making, whether we're talking and branding our world or a service, the recipient needs to be able to recognize us as distinct from what else is out there.
Correct.
And differentiation. So we are communicating in a way that thousands of people or hundreds or thousands of people have communicated that way us saying it doesn't provide the view.
Okay, I think we may be having a little bit of issues with with David's.
David, we lost your audio
voice.
there.
Yeah.
Your audio is gone. Your audio is completely gone. Your audio is completely gone.
Nice. This is the best part of life.
Whoa.
Oh,
Well, there you go. See, now everyone knows. Now everyone knows that this is live.
David is a robot.
David has become a robot.
whoa.
Okay, I'm actually going to have to remove Steve. David, we're going to get back to you. Really appreciate it, mate.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank
Steve, mate, really appreciate it. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for being here. It's late for you guys, so thank you once again, Steve. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Randy, brother, it's late, mate. Your eyes are closing, mate. Your eyes are closing. So,
I'll be staying up to watch the rest of it. Don't you worry.
mate, thank you so much. Really
Thank
appreciate
you so
your
much.
support.
Thank you so
Really
much.
do. And
Thank you, guys.
I'm going to actually sort of get Dino to stay on board and meet Ahmed. How are you, mate? Lovely to have you on
Hey.
board. Lovely to have you on board.
Now
Dino, how are you, brother?
Yes, Carl, how are you?
Hi, Carl.
We've got the Aussie crew. Mariam, how are you? Thank you so much for
The Aussies just
for joining
automatically
in.
took over there.
This is the Aussie crew. There you go. We are
Here's some authentic people from Australia that
Absolutely.
create
Absolutely.
different words because we're real in Australia. It's not America anymore. Sorry, guys.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Point
There you
taken.
go. Banter from down under. There you go. That's the way. That's the way. So thank you so much. So I would like to welcome Ahmad. Thank you so much, brother. He is your property investment strategist and our very own Snoop Imam.
Great to be back, and I think this is incredible what you guys are doing. How many hours have you been on now? Has it been hours or has it been minutes?
No. 15
No, it's a
minutes.
minute.
Okay,
You guys
so
are
you
bringing-
started. All right.
You
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
are bringing up
You
the
got a whole bunch ahead of
second
you.
game.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, great to be here.
Absolutely. Just a little shout out to Tima. Tima, I can see you in the background, but your mic and your camera is not connected, so I can't add you to the stream yet, Tima. So okay, so and thank you so much, Mariam. It's such a pleasure to have you on.
Welcome
You
back.
are welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Mariam, intergenerational strategist and speaker. If you're not connected to Mariam, Ahmad, Dino, and a good man, Carl Goff, who is the Robin Hood of corporate social responsibility. There you go.
There
The
we go.
Robin Hood, I love that.
Right from Nottingham.
Right from Nottingham. There you go. Your
Yeah, we
Mike.
can't hear Carl.
your mic is not connected, Carl.
It's good for technology to meet hearts and minds, but technology does not always deliver what the mind says.
Your mic isn't connected, Carl. It's not. We can't hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah, just get on the normal speakerphone, mate.
You're looking very pretty though, so that's the main thing.
Right. I want to hear Carl.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. So really appreciate it. So thank you, Carl. Can't hear you, buddy. Can't hear you. So really, I'm not sure what is going on. So yeah.
Oh, he's
Okay.
gone.
No. He's trying to
Come back,
reconnect.
come back.
Not an
He's trying
issue.
to put
So Steve at the back. Just a very quick thing, mate. I would request you to just close out from the broadcast studio and be able to just watch us on the LinkedIn screen, mate. Really appreciate it, Steve. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Okay, so without further ado, we want to actually we wanted to speak with Ahmad, Carl, Mariam, and Dino. Mate, would love your little inputs regarding the importance of self-disruption as well. Tima is still having some issues regarding connection. So apologies for that. But we will have her on board as soon as possible. So I'm going to start off with Ahmad. You have disrupted yourself on so many occasions. Come from a personal perspective, from a business perspective, from a different, a few different ways. Share us a couple of things, a couple of anecdotes, a couple of stories, which our viewers would be able to connect with and understand.
Sure, no problem. I guess there's disruption from a business standpoint and from a personal standpoint. My favorite story from a business standpoint has to be Netflix by far. And keep in mind, Netflix started off in '97 as a DVD mail service, right? And they were competing with video stores like Blockbuster and whatnot. And that was their main form of business, until they decided to reevaluate and self-disrupt. Yep. And they came out with a new offering in addition to the actual mail service, which was the streaming service, so that they can actually offer their customers two different services. We all know the rest of the story from here, in that obviously the DVD mail service collapsed, subscribers collapsed, the video store industry was no more. And because they self-disrupted, they were able to take over a huge market share of the industry. And in doing that, they've then disrupted the entire industry externally. That's my favorite case study from a business standpoint. From a personal standpoint, I've self-disrupted and made a habit of self-disrupting myself constantly. And that's taking myself out of my comfort zone, constantly challenging my own confidence and constantly challenging the way I do things. A lot of people don't know, but my biggest fear used to be public speaking. I was never a very confident.
Wouldn't have guessed it. Goodness. That's crazy.
I was absolutely terrified of it. I mean, I wouldn't even have conversations like I'm having with all four of you now, all five of you now. It would absolutely scare me to death. But what I did was challenge my confidence. So I'd constantly put myself in positions where I was speaking publicly. I was doing sales presentation. And it took a lot of work and I made a lot of mistakes. I embarrassed myself quite a bit. But I grew and I developed from that, and now I'm not only confident enough to speak in front of hundreds of people, but I genuinely look forward to it, and now I can even embarrass myself on LinkedIn by putting out rap videos and and I don't even care.
So, Absolutely. Just be yourself. And, beautifully said. It's so important to just sometimes, just leave aside those inhibitions and just do away with it. So, mate, Dino, I'd love your input on that. Actually,
I was just going to
how you've disrupted yourself, mate, and your own personal life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think leaving a corporate world after, 16 years, isn't it?
Exactly.
And going out and running your own business. I think that if anybody's done that, that's a huge disruptor, both from a work-life balance, both from a family perspective, financially. So there's many disruptors around that one huge one that you need to actually adapt to and adapt very quickly.
Right.
And I think whilst you're doing that, I think there's other things that are thrown at you that potentially force you to adapt in different ways that you could, that maybe your plan doesn't see you adapting that way. So that's really cool. I think if I can share a business story, I know I might have shared the Netflix one. My favorite one over the last couple of years has to be Uber Eats. Gentlemen, do you have Uber Eats in Singapore?
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah.
We had Grab Eats. Now we've got Grab Eats because there's no longer any Uber in Singapore, by the way.
Uber Eats.
Oh, well, there you go. So, I mean, we've got Uber Eats, Menulog, Deliveroo, and it's probably scary that I can ramble these off the top of my head. And they're probably the first age of my iPhone as well before you need to swap left. But I think that brings a huge disruptor from a business perspective when you can actually sit at home on a Sunday afternoon and actually just get food delivered to your table.
So true.
Who thought that would have been possible even 3, 4, 5 years ago?
So true.
So I think that's big outside of when we had pizza delivery and you had the old Pizza Huts and going along. But I think we're seeing a lot of that in probably a bit more of a minor scale from coming around from different apps trying to disrupt and make our lives a lot more simple, to make it more convenient and actually trying to get us financially well off. So we're seeing large companies actually at different levels of disruption within different parts of businesses and different subgroups. And I think we're seeing brand new companies come in and disrupt it. And given I still work with within the financial services industry with mortgage brokers. We're seeing that a lot within the fintech industry, different apps, different speed and quickness and urgency around trying to get people finance and easier, quicker ways, cheaper ways to do it.
Correct.
That's coming from large companies all the way through to
Exactly.
So,
I mean, beautifully said, and especially what Dino and Ahmad have actually just mentioned right now. I mean, Ahmad, you disrupted your own self when you actually, you had a career in rapping and music, and then you just completely disrupted yourself and just went into property, which I remember. And Dino, you completely sort of you disrupted yourself by just letting go of being in the corporate space and just having that faith in yourself. So Dino, I so appreciate your being here. Really appreciate it. Tima is backstage. And thank you so much for being with us, Dino. Really appreciate it. The 007 of branding. Thank you once again, buddy. So
enjoy the rest of the show.
Have a lovely day. Thank you so much.
Have a lovely day.
Bye, guys.
Tima, welcome.
We're just
welcome.
getting Tima on.
Hi,
Tima.
I'm
finally,
finally,
finally, we've got Tima Carey out here on the show. Those of you who remember, Tima Carey. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Tima, they just forced me to do a rap, so you're going to have to sing a song for the next 30 seconds or so.
Correct.
No, I'm just waiting for Carl.
No,
I'm waiting for Carl to break into the Jamaican rap.
Yeah, where is Carl? Where is Carl? Where is Carl? Carl, your Jamaican rap.
Carl is the best example.
Oh no! Of all times where we need to hear you, Carl.
We can't hear you. Oh my word! We can't hear the Robin Hood of branding. The Robin Hood of CSR. Can't hear you. Absolutely can't hear you.
I'll tell you what, because it doesn't give it justice. We recently had a karaoke night with a lot of Australian creators, and Carl gave us a bit
what
of a...
What happens at karaoke stays at karaoke.
I'll just talk about Carl. Don't worry. I won't incriminate any of us. But Carl can rap in Jamaican style. He has the Jamaican accent, and he was raised in a Jamaican family, so it was impressive. And I'd love for him to show it to you, but unfortunately we lost him.
Unfortunately, yeah, we've lost him. So Mariam, would love your inputs regarding the importance of self-disruption. Now you've got quite a lot of personal background regarding how you've disrupted yourself. So please, Mariam, would love to get your insights on that.
I think, and this is already being reflected now, where most people are going to go through significant career changes in their lives, where they will see something that we call a portfolio career as opposed to a career ladder that's linear in nature because of technological disruption. You're going to see an average of, previously we saw an average of maybe 1 to 2 career changes. We're looking at maybe 3 to 5 up to 7. And the younger generation is looking at their career in terms of fluidity, where based on the gig platform and the open talent source economy, and even side hustle is actually an old word now. It's just about picking up engagements as you go along to fully develop yourself as a person. And so what you bring to an engagement is your own skill repertoire as opposed to what career you were, what industry you were, what profession you were. And so all of these barriers, these labels we used to put upon ourselves don't no longer exist in an ideal world. It's about what you can do today for the engagement that you're in. And what I'd like to tell you about disruption is all the same thing, is in my own personal life, I've always been doing that. I go through 7-year periods in my life where every 7 years, 4 to 7 years, I go through a beginning of a reassessment of where I stand, and then either pivot either through career or my personality or country even. And that gives me not only the ability to look at things from a fresh perspective, but also objectively analyze what has worked and what needs to be changing. It's also linked, and I'll tell this to anybody who is going through a slump in their life, a lot of your pivots or your career changes in life has gone along, if you map it, against economic cycles as well. So you have a recession, and so therefore you might be retrenched. You're having a boom period, and so therefore there may be better job opportunities. And if you're able to map your life against what's going on in the industry, what's going on globally as well, you're able to set yourself up really well. You're also able to give yourself that fresh perspective of what that next 7-year challenge is going to be. But one last thing that I want to leave with is it's not where you completely slash and burn and completely redevelop yourself. It's also picking up on your existing competences and then building on that. So we're not saying go for something completely differently. Build on your strengths and slowly make changes within that comfort zone, within the space that you're willing to move into. And then therefore you'd realize 20 years down the road, when you look back, you've actually made substantial changes, but in the safety of what you're feeling comfortable with and building on that strengths that or the competences that you already have. So retraining, yes, exactly. Retraining, yes, but nothing substantial, but within something that you're comfortable with, and therefore you'll eventually do it at the end of the day as well.
Beautifully, but thank you so much, Mariam. Carl, do we have you? Can we hear you? No, my goodness, we can't hear you, buddy. We can't hear you. No, can't hear you. Can't hear you.
And I don't have the tech expertise to get.
So never mind. While we try to figure out what's going on with Carl's technology, so Tima would love to hear your input and feedback. Tima, please, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Melbourne. So we've got two Melburnians here, and we had two Sydney. What do you call yourself? Sydneyites?
Sydney-siders. Did you say Sydneyites?
Yes.
I just did the post-itis, Monday-itis, and now Ahmed is. Yeah, he's upset. Sydney-siders, that's right.
No. Ahmed's already said on video. Tima and Mariam, you guys have to back me up, right? Ahmed already said that the best LinkedIn local ever in the world is the one which is held in Melbourne. So,
yeah, that's true.
And I stand by that.
There you go. Perfect. So Tima would love to get your insights and your inputs. But Ahmad would thank you so much for joining us. I know you've had a really, really long day, and you are in the office, so really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much. Please sort of stay tuned on the LinkedIn browser, and we really, really appreciate you joining us, Ahmad. Really, really do. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, brother.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, brother. All right. Before I get Tima in, I'm going to actually I'm going to add Carl once again, just to see. Carl, can we just very quickly hear you?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, brilliant. Can we have the Jamaican rap?
Love it. No, yes.
Microphone, we are go shop, we are go slim, we are the only little DJ figure right. I'm ready to but the microphone, when I go shop, we are go top, we are the only little figure rock dancer. Anyway, there you go.
Brilliant! Awesome!
That was brilliant.
Was that my
so
intro?
much.
That was
Loved
my
it.
intro.
Loved it.
Thanks, Carl.
Yes, there you go. Welcome to the show, Carl and Tima. Mariam, thank you so much for being there. We've got a few other guests already in the green room and the backstage who I'd like to bring in. So Mariam, really, really appreciate you joining us all the way from Melbourne, and you have a lovely day ahead. Take care, Mariam.
Thank you so much,
Bye,
Mariam.
everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Mariam. Love you.
Welcome to the show. I'd like to welcome Elaine all the way from the United States. Thank you so much, Elaine. I'd like to welcome Brian Schulman all the way from the United States as well. So really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Where did Brian go?
Where did Brian go? And Carl dropped out.
No, Carl's here. Okay, no, Carl's here. Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Elaine, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. And we've got Benson from Hong Kong. Thank you so much, Benson, for joining in. So Tima,
Hi, Benson.
Hi.
Would love your inputs on self-disruption, how you've disrupted yourself. You come from a finance industry, and now you've gone into leadership coaching and training, and you are one of the most inspirational people that I've come across on the platform. So tell us a little bit about your methodology and what you've done to actually find that within yourself, to bring out the goodness within you. I love what you say. There is goodness and there is brilliance within each and every one of us. Tima, would love your thoughts on it.
No, I definitely believe that we have greatness within us. And if you just look at the word disruption, it's actually a very inspirational word. Some people think it's destruction, but it's a very, very different perspective. So disruption is you're literally putting yourself out and taking yourself out of your comfort zone, and you're teaching yourself something new, or you're allowing yourself to grow. And I just see that as a growth mindset. And for me, if I'm not growing, I genuinely feel as though I'm dying a very, very slow, painful death. And that's how I look at self-disruption. It's just allowing me to grow and allowing me to really continue to lead in the way that I am when it comes to my mission and my vision and everything else that I'm setting out to achieve, and just really growing on a soul level, on an intellectual level, and in every possible way. So I think it's that's how I see self-disruption. I think a self-disruption as giving yourself the opportunity just to really step into your own greatness and giving yourself the permission to do so, but actually acting on that and actually doing something about it. So for me, it's been a huge part of my life. So
no,
Thank you so much.
Beautifully put, Tima, and I couldn't agree with you more. And Carl, I think that's just a brilliant intro for yourself, because you disrupted your own personal life when you uprooted your entire existence from the UK. And you literally burned all the bridges, and you moved to Australia, and now what you've done is you've left the corporate service and you're doing something which is close to your heart, and that is so powerful and that is so meaningful. But you've had to have that courage to disrupt. So yes, Joy.
That's another example. Meat Magic is one of the best examples of disruptions in a commercial space. The fact that Carl has taken fundraising on its head, connected corporates, and just said, it's so simple. It's like 365 give from Jacqueline Way. Carl, all yours. Go ahead.
I love it. Thank you, guys. You know what? My entire life has been a disruption. You know, when I think back to the earliest memory I have of my dad's truck with his jacket over the top of me, I'm thinking I'm poor. And that disruption there, that level, that thinking as a 3-year-old right there was the hardest thing to go through. And that's continued to try and disrupt yourself and change that. And then I left school at 15. I left home at 16. I was a father by 19. I was almost dead by the time I was 21. Pure disruption everywhere. And so the reason for leaving the UK was because everyone was dying and everyone was going to jail. And there was no way I was going to do that. And you know what? If anybody wants to read the story, go on to my LinkedIn article called Never Be Afraid. That's the entire story of what happened. I literally wrote it down and had it published in a book. But when I landed in New Zealand, my very first time ever on an airplane, and I flew 12,000 miles to New Zealand, I had no money in my pocket. I had $300 in my pocket, and I met a guy called Jeff. I literally pitched a tent in the back of a backpackers in Mount Eden, and I got a job working on sticking metal plates at the bottom of every door. I thought I'd won the lottery because I was away from all the trouble and all the mess. That level of disruption for me, there was too much pain for it to continue, and I don't think people can disrupt themselves until they've got enough pain, because they'll just continue being comfortable, continue doing the same things over and over again.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of what you just said. You know, the moment you actually have that courage to step outside your comfort zone, you know, that's the moment where you basically break those shackles which society has told you that you can't do it, and you just reach forward and you just break through those that invisible glass ceiling of achievement and that potential, and you can actually then harness it, you know, to the best of your ability, and you can actually do what you're meant to. So beautifully put.
Tima will love this, because this is the universe at work. When you step into your fear, the universe says, now you're ready. I'll give you what you're asking for. Unless you step into your fear, it's never going to work. You've got to step into it. That's the only thing you have to do. And all of a sudden, the universe provides.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Carl, and thank you so much, Tima. We've had quite a few technical issues to have you on board, but really appreciate both of you being here all the way from Australia. It was absolutely fantastic. Tima, thank you so much. The work that you do, in whatever you do regarding your leadership coaching and your training and your speaking, where you show people that, you know, just to have that courage within themselves to bring that greatness out from within them, that is so powerful, and kudos to you. So thank you so much, Tima. And Carl, man, whatever you're doing with Meat Magic, it is inspirational to say the least. Absolutely inspirational to say the least. So thank you so much, Tima.
We're going to get Carl to Singapore. Absolutely. I'm going to basically at this moment, Tima, I'm going to remove you from the stream. But thank you so much, Tima. Please join us on the LinkedIn browser. Have a lovely day ahead.
Bye, Tima.
Thank you. Bye, Carl.
All right.
Bye-bye,
I'm going to very quickly add. I'm going to very quickly add Carl. Stay on. I'm going to very quickly add Jacqueline. Okay. So Jacqueline, I'd like you to just hi, Jacqueline. Thank you so much. Happy Canada Day to you. Happy Canada Day to you.
Thank you. We're almost
Happy
there.
Canada Day.
It's a big day for us. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jacqueline, I'd like to very quickly make an introduction with you and Carl, because Carl does something which is called Meat Magic, where he connects corporates to basically look into their CSR objectives. And Jacqueline, you are the the pioneer of 365 Give. So just wanted to get you to meet each other face to face. Meet each other.
We need to chat. You and I are
Yes.
on the same page of the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was on your website yesterday. I love it.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. I so appreciate it. A little different than CSR, but I talk to all those corporate companies as well. I've been doing that for a lifetime. So would love to chat with you more about it.
I'm going to jump in here. Both of you have magic. Both of you have magic. We are happy to get onto a call with all of you all because Carl gets a meeting and that meeting raises funds and it does amazing stuff for all of Australia. And Jacqueline has this give and it just makes people in a company become, feel so much good. And I think if Meet Magic and 365 Give just connect somewhere, we're going to have sparks flying. And us guys, Yusuf and I are happy to
change the world.
that.
It's going to be easy. Yeah, we're just going to change the world.
We are changing the world as we speak right now.
As we speak,
Canada,
you guys have all
Australia,
done differently.
Really appreciate Goffy, mate. Really appreciate you being here all the way
Thank you
from
so much.
Sydney. Have a lovely day, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. Take care. Thanks.
Bye, Carl. Hi,
All right,
everybody. I'm so excited to see everybody.
Absolutely.
Our epic moment.
Brian Schulman is having a couple of technical issues, but we will continue. And what a lovely way to actually continue the aspect of our discussion, because we were basically discussing the importance of just being yourself and the importance of giving. So that just brings us into what you're wanting to do, which is the legacy that you want to leave behind. We all talk about what kind of a legacy that we'd like to leave behind, and the importance of what exactly is legacy. It's not only just about the money, right? It's about how you're remembered as a person, what you do for others around you, and stuff along those lines. I'd like to actually invite Benson to very quickly give us a little bit of his inputs and insights regarding how important it is. You come from a complete corporate background, so and what you are doing at this present moment. So really appreciate that. But just before you start, I'm going to add Brian into the feed. I think we're still trying to work on his camera, but we will wait for him to come on. So Benson, take it away. Tell us a little bit more regarding how you're actually connecting the your corporate life into the art of giving.
Sure.
Not the art of living, the art of giving.
Sure. Hi guys, thanks so much for having me on. Yeah, I just wanted to speak a little bit about how every business, I think, can do a little bit more in terms of social impact. For us, ZenCode, we are an IT services company. We service a lot of corporates here in Singapore, which is something that we've been trying to figure out, hey, we can keep doing this business, but where are we going? So I think a year back when I went to Hong Kong to set up the office there, we started to service more and more startups, but we thought, hey, this is not enough. Startups are, at the end of the day, trying to become corporates themselves. So we ended up also trying to work with charities and social enterprises. Oh, hi, Brian. So at that point, we realized, hey, actually social enterprises, sorry, there's some background noise. That's okay. Social enterprises themselves also need support in terms of technology. And then we looked a little bit deeper and realized, hey, we can match the startups with the social enterprises. So at that point, we realized there's a social enterprise that is looking for recycling plastics, and we link them back to the corporate world, where people in the corporate world could use their merchants network and be able to earn points and redeem for those merchants. So we link both sides together. I'm not sure you heard all that, but
Yep, it's all right.
No, we can hear you.
It's the beauty of life. It's the beauty of life. Great stuff.
Wait till you hear my kids and husband screaming in the background in a minute. So it's all good.
Beautifully put, Benson. I really appreciate you what you just said. It's you just put in a very important aspect of the importance of giving. There are things that you can do at every single aspect, every single moment, every single corner, every single decision that you take as a business leader, as a normal human being, as a person. All you need to do is just be a person, and that is the most important aspect. So appreciate your lovely input there, Benson. Would love to hear a little bit from Elaine. Elaine, thank you so much. Would like to basically at this present moment introduce Elaine. She is the world's best sister, and I'm grateful to her. And she was the first one of the first two speakers who've actually graced the stage at Create the Edge. So I'm so grateful, so grateful to have you back on episode 3, which is our first episode with the guest speaker. So Elaine, the world's best sister, thank you so much. She is a leadership coach, leadership and executive development coach. She specializes in so many things that she's got an alphabet soup after her name. So absolutely, thank you so much, Elaine, joining us all the way from Hollywood, California. So thank you so much, really appreciate it. Elaine, your inputs on the importance of legacy.
Well, I don't know what to say after all of that, except for thank you so much for letting me be a part of it.
Elaine, you've got a legacy going on just being you.
Thank you.
It's the you plus 1%. That'll do, Elaine. It's just the 1% will do.
Thank you very much. So the U plus 1%, we'll just touch on that really quick, is just taking you from where you are to where you want to be, one little step at a time. And how can we focus on what is the big, amazing thing that you want to do beyond what you're doing right now? Because everyone's amazing right now. And how can we take you to that even more amazing place and do it one step at a time that feels like it's something that you can do and be successful at. And so it's a big focus for me of saying, what's your legacy? What's the things that you want to do? And for me, it's how can I help people do that? How can I help them create a better world for themselves, for the people who come behind us, and just be me while I do it, since we're not using the word authentic.
Yes. Beautifully put. We're not using the word authentic. Very beautifully put. So really appreciate that, Elaine, and it brings it beautifully to Jacqueline. What you're doing, especially with 365 Give, that is so inspiring, so inspiring. And I'd like you to really share with us a little bit about how you started it, a little bit about some anecdotes, etc. That would be great.
Absolutely. I think it's really the perfect conversation for me, because when I went back to think about legacy, I'm very much like Benson, and I worked with, multi-million-dollar companies, and I used to literally, take from the rich and give it to the poor. That was kind of my first feet in the water with philanthropy, which I really thought was a big part of my legacy. Mm-hmm. And when I decided to change careers, which was actually into motherhood, which was my new career, I really wanted to help people understand and help my children understand how they could make an impact in their life, because I don't believe that impact and legacy have anything to do with money at all. I think that people worry about that legacy. What legacy am I going to leave for my children? What legacy of my business am I going to leave for them? What legacy am I going to leave by donating millions of dollars? And that word gets lost in what it actually is. And legacy is really something that we can start creating every day in our life. And as I started with my son when he was 3 years old, we did it, and it was so simple. A 3-year-old can do it, because I believe legacy is how you act and behave in the world coming from your heart. And when we come from our heart in the smallest of ways, whether it's smiling at another person, going and picking up garbage around our planet, helping an animal in distress. I don't even think legacy is about impacting other people. I think that it's impacting every living creature on our planet and our planet. So if you think about it, and I wish Brian was on here because he was my perfect example in some ways of legacy, is, LinkedIn used to terrify me. I've done a TED Talk, I'm on Instagram, I'm on all of those places for 365 Give, but LinkedIn scared the crew any videos. And Brian really helped me get my voice here. And I've said this to Brian before, by Brian helping me voice my vibe, I was able, he was able to help me create a legacy, because we started Do One Give Day here, which traveled around to thousands of people, and it made such an impact. So for me, legacy is how you live your life. Legacy is living on purpose every day, even if it's as simple as finding happiness within yourself and sharing that with other people. That ripples further than you will ever know. And that, to me, is legacy.
Awesome.
Beautifully put. Beautifully put. And I would like to take this opportunity to actually thank Benson. Really appreciate you being here, brother. You have a full day of work here, all the way from Hong Kong. All the best with whatever you're doing at ZenCode, and we look forward to continuing some of our other conversations offline as well. So thank you so much for joining us, Benson. Really appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much.
And Benson, let's catch up.
Yeah, for sure. Nice meeting you guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Benson. Bye-bye. All right, so I'm gonna actually patch in Stephen DeSetti, all the way from Perth. Stephen, are you in
Hello,
Perth
everyone.
at the moment, or are you in Sydney?
No, I'm in Perth at the moment. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Great
Perth
to
at
have
the
you.
moment.
Great to have you here with us.
Thank you.
And to all our viewers who are presently watching, we've already had how many speakers have we had? We've already had 12 speakers from all around the world to actually leave us a little bit of their insights and anecdotes and a little bit of their sharing. So really appreciate that. We are having a couple of technical difficulties with Brian Schulman. At the present moment, he's been trying to log in. You may have seen a couple of glimpses of him on the screen, but we're trying to solve that at the moment. So this is the beauty of live, guys. So you know that this is not something which has been pre-recorded,
It's not recorded.
which I'm just putting on here, through the live platform. That is the beauty of live. And thank you so much, LinkedIn, for bringing together people from 27 different cities and 15 different countries, and especially 42 different people, including Joy and I. So really appreciate it. So Elaine, would love a bit of your parting thoughts on legacy and how important do you actually feel legacy is for senior business leaders to actually pay a little bit of more intention towards, and so how important is it? How important is legacy planning to a certain extent, closely interrelated to personal leadership?
Wow, that's a fantastic question. Thank you.
Fantastic question.
Wow.
It is.
Thank you for that question. I would say I think helping senior leaders understand that the world is bigger than just them, and the world is bigger than just their team, and how can they help lead their people, their team, their company to helping our world be a better place. I love what Jacqueline has said about that. It's not about some big thing or lots of money. It's about what can you do as a person to positively create ripples into our world. And can we do that on a corporate level? Yes, absolutely. I think we can.
Absolutely.
And we do that one person, one leader at a time, because every one of us can create that ripple effect. Hello, Brian. So happy to see you.
Brian's trying.
Hi, Brian. Can you hear us? Are you getting us?
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
We can see you right now, not hearing you. Oh, great. That it's okay. You're in now.
You're just in slow-mo. It's perfect.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Well, well, Brian, we can hear you properly, but I think your video is buffering a little bit. But never mind. All we need to do is hear your voice, man. Voice your vibe, brother.
Yes. I wonder if the camera off. I don't know. I'm not getting it. If you can hear me just a smidgen, that's great. I can see your awesome faces. So.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
This is.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from San Diego there. So we've got two lovely guests from the United States. We've got one from Canada. Jacqueline, happy Canada Day to you and each and every one of our Canadian listeners. Really appreciate you joining in. So Brian, brother, we were just talking about the importance of legacy, mate. We had a lovely conversation the other day regarding how important it is for us to be able to tap into who we are as a person, to be able to actually leave behind some kind of a gift to the future generation, and that is exactly what legacy is, and that's exactly what you've done as well, and you are doing. So, would love your thoughts on that, Brian.
Oh, he's frozen.
It's crossing the oceans. Everybody.
I caught most of that, but it was really choppy because my connectivity is just horrible. But I think we're talking about leaving the importance of a legacy. And
yes,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead. That's right.
So everybody that's been on, and I've caught this, but I know everyone that you've had on the show is leaving a legacy. It's just one of those things that is so, and for me, and about inspiring people and letting people know that, reminding people that they have a voice in this story that will affect others around the world. We are given these incredible gifts. It's important to use those gifts that we have and to share them with the world, and know that the lives of others just by sharing your voice and your.
Beautifully put. I so agree with it. And it's just a testament of how important it is to literally sort of just tap into your inner strength, because each and every one of us have so many different backgrounds, so many different perspectives, so many different things that we have gone in, we have faced in our personal lives. And Brian, you're just a testament of how your life has been a struggle from the very moment you were born. And how you're actually using that courage and that grit and that resolution to actually make so much difference to people around you, with voicing your vibe, brother. So to all our listeners on LinkedIn, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, here is one person, Brian Schulman, who's been on LinkedIn every single day for the last 15 years. And when he actually told me that during our CTE episode, if you missed out on that, please have a look. I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked, flabbergasted, to be honest. And but just so one of the most genuine people. So he's part of the LinkedIn furniture, guys. So if you're not connected to Brian Schulman, if you're not connected to Elaine Jacques, if you're not connected to Jacqueline Way, and if you're not connected to Stephen DeSetti, so we've got 3 countries being represented here: the United States, Canada, and all the way down under, Australia. And obviously you've got myself and Joy from Singapore and Kuala Lumpur, respectively. So it's such a pleasure to have you all. So Brian, so give us a little bit, just 2 lines regarding how your mother said that you are a lion.
I think you had shared, it was really breaking up badly, but I think you were talking about the fact that I've been on LinkedIn for 15 and a half, but also what brought me to LinkedIn. One of the, I think you asked regards to my mom. And so, as many of you know, I'm a pound and a half that wasn't supposed to live, get into the world, grew up with a neurological disorder which are uncontrollable tics, and which is dealt with a lot of adversity and bullying growing up, was not the social person you see me as today. It took me a long time to break out of my shell and kind of find my will. But I came to LinkedIn with a purpose too, and if I could inspire one person a day to chase their dreams or get up after they've fallen 50,000 by getting up, you're succeeding, or put a smile on, or have good about themselves when they don't, because is just any one of those things. And I've done my part to make the world a better place as a human being. And with regards to my mom, she had shown me a lion's costume. It was the very first costume she put. I think she made it, if I remember right. Why did you me in a lion's costume as my first costume as a baby? And she said, because you're a fighter for every breath to make it into this world. And so to everyone out there that's watching and listening, is that every one of you will get up and fight. You will believe in yourself and know that a voice and a story that matters, and then that you matter, and that you're not alone, or especially in a world like LinkedIn, where that's what we're all people together, and knowing that we're better together and in it together, and we're here to support one another. So just that's the gist.
This is Brian. Thank you so much. And this is living proof. This is living proof. I mean, re-echo what Yusuf said a short while ago.
I don't know if you got all that,
people.
but
We did. Yeah.
No, we got that. We got it. We actually got that. So,
Thank you.
but Brian, see, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, even though you tried a few times to actually join in on the feed, so really appreciate it. I really appreciate your support, brother. And I will thank you so much for your time, Brian. Really appreciate it.
Brian.
So thank you once again. Thank you once again, Brian, for joining us. And you all are connected here, so it's such a pleasure to actually have you on the show there, Brian. So thank you once again for joining us, Brian.
Yeah,
cheers.
We owe a big thanks to Jacqueline for connecting and getting Brian onto this one, getting him onto CTE.
Couldn't agree more.
You, Jacqueline.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Brian. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Thank you. So I mean that just brings us, you know, to a lovely sort of connection, and I'm going to actually add. We're still actually waiting for a couple of more of our guests. So Jacqueline, really appreciate you being here with us. It's such a pleasure. So thank you so much for joining us on this live episode. And
an epic journey, gentlemen. I am honored. I am humbled, and thank you for not only connecting us, but connecting the world. And I said this in a post earlier today. It's technology and the hearts of people coming together that's going to create fireworks, and this is beautiful. So thank you for this gift that you've given everybody here on LinkedIn and YouTube. It's remarkable.
Beautiful.
This is our shout out. This is us. Create the edge. This is our give to the LinkedIn family, bringing 42 of y'all together at 2 points in time. So thank you so much for helping us doing it.
Remember that.
Thank you so much.
365 give.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day. Have a lovely day.
See you, Jacqueline. Still going to do the Bondi Beach video for your son, by the way.
Oh, good. We were talking about you last night, just so
I haven't forgotten. As soon as I get back to Sydney, I'll be on Bondi and I'll film for you.
Awesome. Really Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you joining us all the way from Canada. Happy Canada Day to you once again. Take care. All right. So we have been waiting for Visha Bhai, and she's still having certain connectivity issues. So I'm actually going to be putting in Miss Suchi from Singapore and Kasturi Gunasegaran from Singapore, who've just joined us on our feed. Hi, Kasturi.
Hi, Elaine. Hi, Sahib. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Stephen and Sushi.
Hello. Hi. How you doing?
So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in. So I'm gonna actually ask Stephen to actually hold the fort, man. You are the specialist there in social networking anyway. So my question to you, as you were discussing, what is the importance of social networking, brother? I mean, that is such a, so many people have so many questions regarding that at the present moment. But prior to us going into that, really appreciate you being here with us, Elaine. So thank you so much for joining in all the way from California. It is late in the evening for you, and it's a Sunday evening for you. So thank you once again, Elaine, for being here and being our first guest on Create the Edge. We will forever be grateful to you for that. So really appreciate it, Elaine. Really appreciate it. You have a lovely day, and thank you once again to the world's best sister. Really appreciate it. Take care.
Take care, Elaine.
Thanks, Elaine.
Lovely.
Thanks, Elaine. All right, so I'm gonna add Charu Mehrotra as well into the live feed from Singapore.
Lovely.
Thank you so much, Charu.
Hi, Charu. Hi. Thank you for the brilliant shout out, Charu. Thank you so much for being our digital partner. Love you for that.
Hats off to you guys.
Oh, thank you. We are nothing without you guys. Thank you.
Congratulations for this. I mean, it's amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kasturi, and thank you so much, Ms. Suchi. Really appreciate your input at this present moment. So, but what I'm going to do is Charu, I'm just going to very quickly just remove you from the stream for just a couple of minutes because I'm going to bring in Visha, who's joining us from India. So I really appreciate you being here with us, Charu. So thank you so much for just give us a couple of minutes. So Visha, Visha, welcome, and thank you so much for being able to join in all the way from India.
Yay.
Really
Hi,
appreciate
Visha.
you. Thank
Hi.
you so much for joining in.
Lovely.
Please, lovely to meet each and every one of you once again. It's such an absolute pleasure. So, where we were actually talking
Social
about the importance of social networking with Stephen and Visha. So, Stephen, I would love your inputs and insights on that.
Wow. On social networking. Okay. One of the things that comes to mind, and there's probably a million different definitions for social networking, but one of the things, and the reason I do what I do at the volume I do it at, and not only in the frequency of what I post, but the variations of how I post it, is to be social, is to be human. We've always been doing it. The original Instagram's on a wall in a cave in France and Indonesia 40,000 years ago. So as a species, people just want to be social. That's why we cluster. And in terms of networking, we've been drawing on caves, and now we just do it at scale in circumstances as elaborate as what this is. So one of the things that I always encourage people to do is don't feel uncomfortable about speaking up and don't hesitate, because that's being human. It's the quality. Humanity is the quality of being human. So for me, social networking is to put your point of view across and not be too worried about the fact that some people don't like it and some might like it. Because if you rewind 20 years ago, you could have walked in wearing a dress or a suit or a jacket or a tie, wore a particular hairstyle that some people wouldn't like. Some will, some won't, so what? Unfortunately today, because of social networking, the negativity comes as to, if I speak up and be social, that's going to make me stand out. No, it's just going to make you human. And if I'm going to network and connect with people, we've been doing that since we were in clustering in caves. The only difference now is it's on scale. So you have an opportunity to scale up your voice, scale up your contribution, scale up the difference you make in another human being's life. So to me, social networking is about being human, because that's what social is. We're social beings. And networking is what we've always wanted to do, because we've been clustering in caves and villages. Now we just do it in virtual communities. And the end result is, what you find is, if you socially connect and network with people, don't be surprised how many people will see you as an example. So part of what I do in Desadie Land is do one thing and one thing only: be a relentless example of showing up.
Beautifully put. Beautifully put. And I couldn't agree with you more, Stephen. So that leads in beautifully to requesting Visha for her input regarding social networking as well. And how important do you think social networking is? Visha, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
I think we are.
Am I audible?
Okay. Yes, you are audible. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Don't listen to yourself. Just speak. Yes, you are.
Absolutely.
Yes, you are.
Absolutely.
Yes, you are.
I am.
Yes.
In terms of social networking, I believe that it's imperative to understand that in terms of marketing and communications, that the social space that is important as the physical space in. But then, being said, space is just a space, and it's lifeless. It breathes into the social. The interactions and the exchange of ideas and ideologies that breathes social space and makes it powerful and important. And my message to anyone and everyone out there who has an internet connection would be in one form. Why not fuel your social space up, presence felt, and help others networking effective. So from me.
Nice.
No, really appreciate you. Really appreciate you joining us all the way from India. It's so important, and that just corroborates exactly what Stephen said. We are in this virtual space at this present moment, right? Absolutely.
Yes, it did.
Absolutely. We heard you loud and clear, Visha. So really appreciate it. See, this is the beauty, and also the fallacy of technology, right? We are here connected through different countries all over the world, but and technology has enabled us as well to do it. But there are always some glitches, and that is the beauty of being live. That's the beauty of being authentic and genuine, and that's exactly who we are. So yeah, no, but Visha, we can hear you. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate your time once again. Stephen, thank you, brother, for joining us. Thank you so much, Visha, for joining us. Really, really appreciate your support. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you on as one of our guests on Create the Edge. And both of you are integral parts of our CTE family, and we really appreciate you being there and for your sharing at this present moment. So thank you once again, Visha, all the way from India, and Stephen from Perth. Really, really appreciate it, mate. So thank you once again for joining us. Visha, we will speak with you later. Stephen, we look forward to speaking with you and connecting with you at a later stage. Thanks, brother.
You bet.
Take care.
Take care. Bye. Thank you. And we're getting into having a connected experience now.
Exactly. So that basically brings us in to basically
for the world that's watching, we are now back. We are now back in Singapore. Yes. I'm not. Yep. Everybody else is.
Yes.
Except Pooja. Pooja's in India.
Right.
Exactly. So thank you so much. So firstly, I think it's a beautiful segue from what we were discussing last regarding social networking, which Stephen and Visha, so beautifully put in. So firstly, to the listeners, apologies. There were two speakers who couldn't make it at the last minute. That was Katya Kemper from Sydney and Jaren Hussain from Bangladesh. They were having some last minute technical issues. So they were supposed to be sharing on social networking as well. So, but we do thank you so much once again, Jaren and Katya, for your support throughout for Create the Edge and whatever we've been doing on the live feed on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for all your support. I mean, I'm absolutely floored, and I can't believe, the amazing support that we are getting from all over the world. So
thank you so much,
guys. I'm so sorry. I'm not able to respond to comments at this present moment, but will do so after the live feed. So really, really appreciate that. And so the segue basically, as you were discussing, how important it is for social networking. We are all creatures of habit, or rather, we become creatures of habit. Basically, in a world of technology where we are stuck, and where technology was meant to actually make things easier, it's actually disconnected us from people around us to a certain extent, unfortunately. But that's what has happened. So because technology where it has been supposed to a certain extent reduce the amount of time that we spend to do things, but that has actually come in as a as something which distracts us even more. I mean, it does to me for sure, with all the notifications, and I'm sure each and everyone is facing the same issue to a certain extent.
Except Miss Suchi, she's not on technology. She keeps away from it.
Absolutely. So a quick introduction. It's such a pleasure to have you four ladies here, the four Wonder Women from Singapore, my absolute inner circle. And it's such a pleasure, the encouragement, the love, and the amazing feedback and support that all of you have given me and Joy over the last 5-6 months since we've been curating Create the Edge has been absolutely incredible and amazing. So Miss Suchi, she's the world's first laughter coach who does 100 different kinds of laughter exercises and motivational speaker. Charu, if you're not yet connected to her, she's a specialist in digital entrepreneurship and women empowerment and women entrepreneurship. She's the founder of Women Lines e-magazine. Pooja Talesara, she's a leadership coach and she's a workplace wellness coach and an OD consultant. She's presently in India, and we really appreciate her joining us all the way from India. And last but not the least, Kasturi Gunasegaran, an educator, and one of the most genuine human beings who I've ever come across. So she does everything.
Forms minds.
She forms minds.
Sorry to interrupt. Kasturi forms minds because she's an early childhood educator. She creates, forms minds. We are just bringing hearts and minds and technology, meeting them. But Kasturi physically, literally molds the minds that are going to meet technology tomorrow. That's my 2 bits on it. On her introduction.
Thank you, Joy. I was a bit lost for words, so I really, really appreciate you jumping in right.
Somebody said, Yusuf, Tapan Das, shout out to him. You're Captain America and I'm Nick Fury. We wouldn't be where we are if these 4 ladies were not in your inner circle. Each one of them endows us with the 4 gems that Thanos wanted in Avengers.
That is beautiful. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. That is fantastic. Joy, I love what you did there. So thank you so much.
I'm rewired. Pooja rewired me during the leadership series. She rewired me. So you get all these pearls coming out. Rocket.
Absolutely. So what we're actually wanting to focus on is like all four of you, have very specific purposes and vision and mission that y'all are working towards, and y'all have been working towards for the last few years, decades even. So I'd like you to kindly give us a little bit of insight and info regarding how important it is that what you are doing and how you're actually sort of affecting people around you, how some certain little stories which you have actually changed or you have impacted the life of others through providing them a connected experience. Miss Suchi, you've saved the lives of 22 people who have been wanting to commit suicide, and that is something so powerful, so powerful. Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more regarding what you are doing, the work that you do, the vision that you symbolize, and your purpose?
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for having me on Create the Age 50th episode. Congratulations to Sahib Yusuf Baksh and Joy Abdullah. All of us are very blessed to be able to be part of it. We are very honored to be here.
Thank you so much.
Am I audible? Is it clear?
Perfectly audible.
Absolutely.
Cool. So it's a blessing to be able to save others' lives. It started a few years back when my own family member was feeling distraught, sad, and low. And I was able to do a bit of counseling, not being a psychiatrist or psychologist, but was being able to calm the person down and tell the person how good she or he is. And I took it to the next level by understanding how fascinating our brain is, because I worked in a brain development school. So knowing our brain and to be able to connect with myself, feeling empowered, to be able to save that one particular life to begin with, it all started from there. And as in when I share that I'm able to save lives, now I have people calling me, connecting with me from various parts of the world to say that I came to know about you and how can you help me? So first of all, it's all about being there to listen to that person, practice active listening, but by not telling the person, why are you doing this? Why are you not doing this? But just be there for the person. That's what I do. And then I bring in my knowledge, whatever has helped me to feel empowered and share with that person. And then the second life and third and the 10th one was the one from LinkedIn itself. The person just announced on LinkedIn, say, hey, I have not been getting a job. I am not enough. I'm not good. I'm going to kill myself today. And I was the first one to comment, say that, talk to me. So I think this confidence and this feeling of empowerment and knowing what to say in order to save lives is a blessing. And I'm using it, and I'm going to use it till I save many more lives. So yeah, that's how it all started. And then learning more about hormones and then getting people to feel high without drinking alcohol, without taking drugs. It's also taking my works to the next levels where you don't need to find that reason to be happy outside. You don't need to go out and drink with your friends that take drugs in order to be happy, but you are blessed. You have this innate ability to be able to feel good about yourself by balancing your hormones. And that's what my work is all about. So that is helping me a lot to save more lives now. And look, this kind of platforms make it so visible globally. So thank you to you guys. And that's my story. And my vision is to save as many lives as I can, spread happiness, peace, love, laughter. That's what I'm doing. And I'll continue doing that because this kind of appreciation and gestures keep me going. Yeah. Yep. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Suchi. And you've actually touched upon a very, very important point. The only way to actually sort of make a difference to others is to have that courage to actually reach out, to connect, and basically tell them that you are there. And that is so important. That is so powerful. Just that presence, right? The presence, just being present is key. And that is what a lot of us, especially in this technology-ridden world, aren't. We are there, but we aren't there.
Correct.
And that is so true, Ms. Suchi. And I couldn't agree with you more. So really, really appreciate your lovely input regarding that. So beautifully moving into that, would love to get your inputs, Charu.
Yep. So my journey is, at present, I'm running online magazine womenlines.com. So it is promoting excellence in women so that they can excel in their career and raise their family powerfully. So my last 10-year journey has been through different ventures where I have met many women entrepreneurs and other entrepreneurs, and reaching out to experts through my previous ventures where they are having expert knowledge. So somehow I found that there's missing link. I am meeting people who are experts, who are having some capabilities which they are not able to showcase to the world. And I'm having experts who are having such a precious knowledge which they can share with people so that they can be empowered and they can use that knowledge for their betterment in life. So why not we disrupt media? So what I'm doing, I'm disrupting media for betterment for everybody. And I'm connecting with women entrepreneurs around, with women professionals around who are having something to share, having something to work upon. And I'm also connecting with people who are having some expert knowledge on different topics, health, entrepreneurship, skills. There's so many things to share, and bringing them together on my page so that one can share and one can learn and excel in life. So I strongly believe if we can use digital media for betterment, it can be used for beautiful purpose. And we can learn so much with each other by connecting with each other. And that's you guys are also doing. It's so beautiful. We are listening to others and we are learning from them so much. So yeah, that's my input.
Thank you so much, Aru. That was absolutely amazing, because amazing from the perspective you mentioned about disruption, and you've used digital to disrupt and yet serve. And
Yes.
that's the connecting bit. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Beautifully put, actually, Charu. And see, that is the importance, right? A lot of people actually they forget about how important it is regarding ensuring that they embrace their presence online as well, because your online presence has become so important. And it's just become such an important cornerstone for personal branding to a certain extent. And what I always go on regarding how important it is to ensure that your real life and your real life, that people actually sort of, your public persona and your personal persona, try not to build facades, because they will be broken down. And that's so important. So it just brings back to the discussions that we've been having for the last 1 hour and 21 minutes with our guests from all over the world. They've all boiled down to just one aspect. That is, just be yourself, be authentic, have that integrity and that authenticity within you. And
we are not going to use the word authentic. We are not going to use the word authentic. We are going to use the word be human.
Be human.
So, like disruption has become a bad word or a negative connotation. Guests felt that authentic, saying that be authentic, has become another jargon or this thing. So it's just comes back to, we are all individuals. We are made unique. Our irises, our fingerprints are unique. We have emotions which are unique. So if we are as an individually, we are we, and we don't bother about, are you sitting in judgment of me and I've got to model what you like, but I'm just being myself, and that creates happiness within me. That will ripple out to others. That if I'm happy, it radiates positivity. End of story. And that's Miss Suchi. She's doing
beautifully put. I couldn't agree more. And I'd love to actually ask Pooja to actually share with us, the ways in which how important it is, especially from a perspective of young adults. Now, what I mean by young adults, I'm talking about school leaving kids, who are going into university. Sometimes they are a little bit confused regarding what they need to do about the future, and how important is the presence of a coach or a leadership development specialist to actually guide them, to ensure that life itself on its own is a connected experience. You know, each and everything from the past, your present, and whatever is happening in the future, they're all connected along a blockchain. Now, I'm going to use the word
Beautifully
blockchain
said.
is because you know a lot of people say blockchain, but you know it's a fad word or whatever. But you know, blockchain is basically connected links where everything is interconnected. Our life, from whatever's happened in the past, our present, and in the future, each and everything that we do today connects to something which is going to happen in the future to a certain extent, and that is so important. So, and anything and everything that has happened will be recorded along that blockchain of life. So Pooja would love your inputs regarding what you are doing, especially as a leadership development coach, as an expert, and what you're doing, especially in the occupational development and the leadership development field with Rewire and with all your other ventures.
Thank you, Yusuf. I'm so glad to be on this special episode. So first of all, please let me know if you are able to hear me, so that then I forget. All right, wonderful, great. So Yusuf, before I get into responding to you, I really like the word what you use, are and aren't. You used in your when you were responding, right? So now I'm going to link it to that. So what I'm doing is helping people, rather equipping them, nudging them to discover from aren't to are. Okay, and confusion to conclusion is not always the way out. It is more of discovery. And why is it important is because when you're discovering, it's an inward journey, which really helps one unlock the potential what they have, right? Because most of the time we just want to be someone else, and that time we just limit our yardstick. So to be very concise, I am it's such a privilege to help tomorrow's leaders to be on their inward journey and discover and unlock their abundant potential.
Nice. That's exactly. Everything comes from within. Beautifully put, Pooja. Beautifully put. Because are not, aren't is a negative.
Yes.
That means, you know, in our pathways, we get a negative thinking. But are allows us a huge, wide field to say, let's try. When you try, there's an action. When there's an action, the brain gets, you know, sort of distracted to focus on that action, not on the are not bit. Beautifully put. Love it.
Absolutely.
Love it.
And most of the time we just spend our life in just reaction, you know, and we're just reacting, and then we feel like, oh, the life is so hard.
True. And this is where what Yusuf said, the blockchain or the links come in, because we can't forget the past. Our past has made us today. But what we can do, you can disrupt today, look at within yourself and take your strengths, not work on your weaknesses. Again, something that working with Yusuf I've learned, you don't work on your weaknesses, because if you work on your weaknesses, they're not going to transform into strengths. They're just going to become stronger weaknesses. Work on your strengths. You disrupt, work on your strength, take it forward. So if there's a link from your past to present, as you work, that link follows into your action of what your tomorrow would be. Thank you, Yusuf. That was beautifully put.
And Joy, when you were just using the word present, and now we really introspect, I think present is so empowering, and that's why it's called as present, the gift, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's so empowering. And the word itself is so empowering. So I think we need to really focus on that word and pick up the energy.
If we want to believe in, Yusuf and I have positioned our 50th episode as bending time and space. It's technology meeting hearts and minds. If we look at it, time is a man-made construct. If we were to put the time the way we are conditioned to know 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 30 days a month aside, we are continuously in the present. There is an us existing in past, there is us in present, and there is an us in our tomorrow, because when you remove the time, we coexist parallelly at one point in time. It's a metaphysical concept. So if you were to look at that metaphysical, all you're doing is from the moment you're born, like Brian Schulman said, he fought for his first breath. But that fighter is a lion even today. We are coexisting in various forms parallelly. And that's where the blockchain comes in. Maybe I'm getting a little esoteric, but it's It's
we need to
beautiful.
just
Sorry.
manage our energy among, when we travel through this different space. I just love the way you demystified it.
Thank
No,
you.
I mean,
Thank you very much.
I couldn't agree more. And I couldn't agree more because I was actually, Joy, you reminded me of a quote which I read last night or earlier this morning, which is so important to what you just said. The two most important days in your life are the days you are born, and the day you found out why.
Yep.
Yes, it's an absolutely a powerful quote. You can see every one of us agreeing to it.
The book opens on the day you're born, and the book doesn't close on the day you die. It just says it stops all transactions which you have to, look at. Has it balanced out? Is your credit and debit balances all right? And after that, all sorts of theologies come into play, whether you go up, down, sideways, horizontal, whatever be it. But beautiful quote. Beautiful quote.
And that is where you just have to just believe in yourself. And sometimes when you don't have that belief in yourself, there will be someone. There will be someone in your life who will actually who will actually be there for you, and will just tell you that I believe in you, and that is so powerful, so powerful.
And that takes us away into Kasturi very, because she is grooming the minds of tomorrow's leaders. So if she grooms them to believe in themselves, Pooja's work becomes less than half.
I was just about to say that.
Sorry, Kasturi. Go ahead.
No worries at all. First of all, congratulations to both of
Thank
you for your 50th episode. It's so nice to be with the team. Yeah. All right. Yeah, absolutely right. I've got an important job. Now I have to create those kind of adults that I see on this screen. Now I have an important job to build that strong foundation. Now what I do is basically I create a connected experience between the body, the mind, and the soul for a holistic human development. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So and also to realize the potential within. So how I do it is basically when you hear Kasturi, I'm all about education and wellness through yoga, the yoga that I teach and all. And it's all about humanity through my humanitarian works. And of course, my very own Gems Unearthed, that it's a new platform that I have here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about that. Kasturi is all about that. And when it comes to education, right, it's just not only gaining knowledge, but we are also acquiring skills, habits, values, beliefs. These are all education, and it happens everywhere. And how I integrate education in my curriculum is that apart from the already drafted curriculum that is given by the school, I do integrate all the sports, mindfulness, arts, dance, music, and all that in my curriculum, so as to enhance the education experience, the learning journey of the child. And of course, when you talk about mind, it's always the memory, the language, the logical thinking, the cognitive. Basically, it's all about the cognitive faculties. Yeah. And that is got to do with your brain. Now, the brain is definitely connected to your nervous system. Now, when you say about nervous system, it's all about the coordination of your actions. Yeah. And your sensory information. And how do you get is through your body movement, and that's where the body is concerned, where your yoga or your exercises, your healthy diet is concerned. So you have to bring that healthy body. So with a healthy mind, you create a healthy body. Now, when body is, of course, involved, as I told you, all your exercise and proper diet works. Now, the soul, you are creating a healthy soul. How do you do that? Now, soul is the essence of this human existence. Now, when you look good, or when you do good, you feel good. Now, how do you do that? So basically, it's like this soul, which is the essence, is creating that individuality and the humanity within. Now, so do what makes you happy. So body is useless when it is not connected to that vital force. Now, this vital force is your soul. So you've got to do things that make our soul happy. Now, I always encourage practice gratefulness. To do good, to feel good. Yeah. So that's how actually all these gems unearthed came about. Because I feel that we are all connected. We are all made up of cells. Now, it's a law of science. It's a law of universe. We're all connected by cells. Our human organ, tissues, everything is connected by cells. As well as if you talk about the law of universe, energy is also connected. So what you feel, what you think, and you will receive the same way. So if you think good, you feel good, you receive good as well. So that creates that happy environment.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And the mind has to be aligned with the soul to make right decisions. That's how your body will be guided as well to do good stuff. So achieve happiness through gratefulness. That's the most important thing I feel. And to achieve that, we have to have a world of wonderful people, wonderful adults, right? So that's what I am doing. I'm creating that foundation. That's where my job is, to create young adults who are going to have that strong foundation. And so we are all connected. So let's enjoy the connected experience.
Yay!
Very good.
Beautifully put. And thank you so much for saying that,
Thank you so much.
Kasturi, because, and I'd like to actually sort of go into a slightly different aspect, which we've spoken about in the past, onto how important language is about communication as well. And communication is what actually is the key which brings together that connected experience. Because if you're not able to communicate effectively, then there is no connection in the first place. And your passion in towards languages is absolutely exemplary. And I'm going back to our episode where you and Ms. Suchi, we had this amazing discussion regarding languages, right? So the importance of being able to understand and being able to convey your message, regardless of the language you speak. So it brings to mind, a story that you had told me regarding something which had happened in the past, where you were actually you had met a lovely lady sitting on a park bench who never used to speak to anyone, and you had noticed her a few times, and then you one day went up to her, and then you found out something which was absolutely astonishing. Kasturi, I'd like you to take us through that story. Which is a real life story which you've gone through, which is, I think, such an essence of the importance of being present, being able to actually reach out genuinely, to care, because those are the elements to actually provide a holistic, real life connected experience.
Okay. All right. Yes, Sahib. I think it must have touched you so deeply. That's why you're mentioning about that. Yes, it has. It did touch me very deeply as well. Language. That's why I always say language is never a barrier. Even if you don't understand the language, somehow with some kind of gestures, you can definitely communicate with someone. Yeah. Communication is not just about speaking, verbal, but it can be written as well, or any other ways. Yeah. As I was telling, I saw this lady at the playground. I brought my kids to play, and she's always alone, sitting alone. And I've been noticing her, like I've noticed her for quite some time. And then I went up to her. I say hi, being friendly as per usual. I say hi, how are you? And she started to do hand signals. Now that's when I realized that she's unable to hear and she's unable to speak. Now, wow, okay, wow, I don't know sign languages at all. So, but I try to use my hands, of course, have you eaten? Where are your kids? And things like that. So, of course, definitely she must have known some way to connect. Now, well, I took out my phone. That's the only thing that I could think of. And then I went to the notepad. Yeah, note. I wanted to know if she can type something for me. So, and then I showed her. She was so happy. And then she started typing. So we kind of communicated through that typing. So she typed, yes, my name is so and so. And then I started to type. And then that's how we started our friendship. And okay, it's all done. And then I was walking back home. And another friend of mine, who's always seen in the playground, she came to me. She said, Kasturi, talking to her. Do you know she can't speak and hear? I say, yes, but I did somehow. Now, so they were all shocked because all the while she was alone because she was unable to speak and she's unable to hear. So nobody kind of like took the effort to find ways. Now, when I found out ways and they have found out how to talk to her, the next very day, I found her with more friends. I was happy for her. I was really happy for her. Again, they were using phones. They were starting to type and then hand signals, cooking. Have you cooked? Have you eaten? This is so simple. It's universal. So
Correct.
this is about communication. There's always a way to communicate. So, I felt so happy for her because she found more friends. And we communicated after that. And she was so happy. She had more friends. Yep, that's right. So that's how it was.
Beautiful.
Thank
That's
you.
beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think communication, because if you are communicating with an intent to connect, then you would not, the forms really doesn't matter. So I think Kasturi, your intention right from the starting was that you wanted to connect, and many times people miss out on that because when you're communicating, you just want to communicate just to pass on the information, or you want to seek information which is so transactional. So your communication was with an intention to connect. So that's why you really stepped out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. So that was very, very touching because it happens, especially in Singapore, because we have the different culture, different races, different languages. So my neighbor is a Chinese lady, and that auntie, she speaks very little English. So I always love to code switch. I always love to change the way I speak in order to reach out to the person. You see, your aim is to reach out to the person. That's all. If I'm going to speak my professional English to her, she will never want to speak to me. So I will tweak a bit. I'll go, I will start using my Singlish. All my accent will come out because my aim is to reach out to her. I want her to talk to me. That's all. I want her to talk to me. That's all. So it doesn't matter. And the son came back and said, oh my God, how were you talking to my mom? Because she doesn't speak proper English. I said, that's okay. I know how to talk to her. I somehow. So we can relate. We can.
Okay. Please,
so
please continue. I would have to make a move. Sorry.
Yes, I was about to say, Ms. Suchi, you did. Thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciate your time. We did run a little bit late in the schedule due to a couple of technical errors with some of our guests, but thank you so much, Ms. Suchi, for joining us.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to catching up with you all.
Remember to not postpone your happiness. Be happy now, okay?
Be happy now.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ms. Suchi.
Bye-bye.
So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that just brings us back to how important it is to connect, relate, engage. I'm sorry, I just keep on going back to my three pillars. So and I'm actually regarding the three things, that is from Pooja, by the way.
I knew that you had to bring that. Yes, my speciality with three things. I knew that.
I think Yusuf, it's time you added the A into it to make it care. Connect, appreciate, relate, engage.
Oh yes.
Perfect. Absolutely. And that is exactly what each and every one of you have been talking about. The importance of actually caring, which Ms. Suchi started right in the beginning, especially with how she's touched the lives of people who've been beyond despair to actually be at the brink of actually ending their own life, and how Kasturi very beautifully summarized as to the importance of just being there for someone, just being there in the moment, and the importance of that. So thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. And that is important. That is so important. And for you, thank you so much for all your inputs, your support, your feedback, your encouragement, and all your love. It means a lot to Joy and I, and we look forward to continuing this conversation with all of you moving forward. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Charu. for joining
Thank you
us.
so much.
We've run
Congratulations
about
once
half
again.
an hour behind schedule. So thank you so much, though. Really, really appreciate your support, your input. For everything that you do and for the work that you do for women entrepreneurs and digital marketing and digital specialists from around the world. And I'd like to take this moment to actually do a very quick announcement that it is our pleasure at Create the Edge to actually work with Women Lines as our digital media partner. Which was finalized yesterday. So thank you so much, Charu. It's such a pleasure. Such a pleasure, and it's beautiful to be connected and be working with a fantastic professional like yourself. So thank you once again, Charu. We really appreciate your presence here.
Thank you.
And have a lovely day. Take care, Charu.
Thank you.
Congratulations once again.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
So Pooja, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. I hope your trip to India is going well.
Absolutely enjoying it. Thank you.
Congratulations on being felicitated on a couple of occasions for being a thought leader as a lady as well, which you've shared. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing work. Really, really
Great.
appreciate it. And Kasturi would like to really thank you once again for being there. I know it's a school day for you. And see, this is the beauty of.
Thank you for taking the time out. Yes,
exactly. Of relationships, right? And that is so important. And it's
that
just
was the reason why, Sahib. That was the reason why I'm here. Actually, it was a no. Remember, I told you I can't make it. But
Yes.
the thought, the positive thought that, oh my God, my connected experience is there. How can I find a way? And I found a way. So I'm here. Yay!
Where there's a will,
That's
there's a way.
good. That's good. It's been long.
Exactly. I'm talking about that we are all connected. We are all connected. So definitely the positive energy came over to me and I'm here.
Thank you.
So
That's
appreciate
so good.
it.
So again, communicate to connect, relation. Yes, use of your three things again.
Correct.
Absolutely. So honestly speaking, I think I'm going to actually I'm going to listen to what Joy said, and I'm going to change it online, live. So, there you go.
Connect.
Appreciate,
Oh, wow.
and engage. So
I'm really loving it. It's nice. Connect.
Very nice.
Care. Beautiful.
Put it down. Hashtag Youth of Care. We'll register it when we get into hospitality or into medical. That becomes a brand. Youth of Care.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Very nice.
Pooja, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I really, really appreciate it.
So much.
Thank you so much,
doing
Pooja.
the amazing work that you do, and
Thank
Kasturi,
you.
really, really appreciate everything that you do. I mean the way you connect with others, the work that you do for refugees around the world, for education. For most people who don't know, she actually sort of sponsors 2 schools in India, and she uses her own money to actually provide educational material to people who can't afford it. There are lots of little things that each and every one of us do which don't come out into the open, and that is one of the things that she's doing with Gems Unearthed blog, which she is doing. So if you're not following Gems Unearthed blog by Kasturi, really do that, because it's a fantastic initiative that she's taken on board to basically get people to recognize others who are silent heroes, and that is so important. So
That's
thank
a
you
big
so
gift.
much. It is a big gift, and Pooja and Charu and Miss Suchi and Kasturi, thank you so much for
Thank you.
being there with the both of us throughout our journeys, and we look forward to reconnecting and bringing on board a full-fledged series on what connected experience is moving forward. So thank you once again to the both of you. We really, really appreciate your time and your love and your encouragement. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
once
much.
again.
Thank you.
So
Wow.
that brings us back. I mean, this has been a mammoth episode, Joy. I mean, goodness.
Mammoth.
We
I'm
were,
just
we were,
thinking
we were
back.
expecting it to be an hour and 20 minutes, and it's been an hour and 50 minutes at this present moment. And
Exactly. I'm going back to our 40, 50 episodes and trying to think back when we have recorded. The maximum we have run has been a little below 90 minutes, about an hour and 20 minutes. This is 50th episode. It takes the cake. But wow. Just think of the connectivity, benefit of branding, importance of social networking, disrupting yourself, connected experience. Whoa, there is a ton right here. Just processing this is going to take another couple of days, Awesome.
Couldn't agree more. And and honestly speaking, would love to thank each and every one of you who's actually logged in on LinkedIn. Really appreciate your amazing support. I mean, we are so humbled. Because
we're absolutely grateful for this.
Exactly.
Really
and honestly speaking, we started Create the Edge about 5 months ago, Joy and I. And the reason why we started is because we were like, okay, I come from a sales and a business development perspective, and Joy comes from a marketing and branding perspective. And we were like, let's try and actually speak about our experiences regarding the different industries and how we might be able to actually, give our little bit of insights and inputs based on our experience, right? And that turned out into like a full-fledged discussion that we started having with amazing thought leaders in our network.
Absolutely.
So, once again, I'd like to thank all our guests today. We've had 18 guests from around the world. We've had David Breyer from the United States, the Chief Gravity Defier, aka who I call the Iron Man of branding. We've got Randy Heller, the Superman of writing and content creation. We've got Dino Pacella, all the way from Perth, who's the 007 in branding. He's the one who flips the M and me to make it we. And we've got Steve Sullivan, who just is one of the most genuine people who you will meet. And, he's a solutions innovator. He specializes in patient care, and he's based out of the US. Obviously, my dear, brother from another mother, Ahmed Imam, the property investment strategist, aka Snoop Imam. Ahmad, we need to do a wrap one day, and we will be doing that soon offline. So, we look forward to that. Tima Al-Haj, leadership and social selling consultant all the way from Melbourne. Thank you so much, Tima. There were quite a few little technical glitches that you were facing, but thank you so much for just being there. Absolutely. And we so appreciate it. Mariam Risa, intergenerational strategist and millennial speaker. Thank you so much, Mariam. Your inputs, your insights. Yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal. So thank you so much. And the work you do, for accountants and in the financial industry with all your inputs and advice, it's absolutely fantastic and phenomenal. Carl Goff, brother, I can't say more. What you are doing at this present moment, with Meet Magic is something which literally like plugs away and strums at my heartstrings, so to speak. You are the corporate Robin Hood. As I've already given you the moniker before during our episode. So thank you so much, brother. There were so many issues with technical glitches that you were facing, but you were like, no, you have to be here and be part of the CTE family. So really,
thank you so much, Carl. Thank you so much. So
appreciate it. Elaine, the world's best sister, you are absolutely special. You plus 1% today. That is so important. There is you don't need to make see changes within one day. All you need to do is just make that incremental effort. And Elaine, what you do for leaders around the world, especially through your coaching, your mentoring, is absolutely fantabulous. Yes, I've just created that word, fantabulous. There's no word in the stupendous and fantabulous. So keep doing what you're doing, Elaine. And you're making a change to others around you. Jacqueline Way, all the way from Canada, to each and every one of our Canadian listeners around the world, happy Canada Day to you. So, Jacqueline, what you are doing with 365 Give and your Do One Give initiative, it is beautiful. It is just absolutely fantastic. And Brian Schulman, brother, you are an inspiration to each and every one of us with Voice Your Vibe and with just your journey, which is so inspiring and motivational. Benson, thank you so much for joining us from Hong Kong. You are in the middle of your work day, and we really appreciate, the CSR initiatives that you are doing as a corporate leader and bring that out into society as well. Unfortunately, Katya Kemper wasn't able to join us today from Sydney. She has sent her apologies. Jaren Hussain, all the way from Bangladesh, she wasn't able to join us today as well, and she has sent her apologies. But thank you so much, Stephen Desetti, for joining us. You're the coach's coach, the mentor's mentor. Your inputs and insights regarding, how social networking and how how the change, the only constant is the speed of change. I still remember what you had said during our episode. So thank you so much for that. Visha, really, really appreciate your input today. You know, you are a fantastic speaker and an ambassador and a LinkedIn for Women ambassador as well. So thank you so much for providing us your inputs and insights today. And lastly, our last group, Miss Suchi, you're an inspiration with what you do to so many people around us, with you being the chair of Global Goodwill Ambassadors here in Asia, and what you do to so many people to uplift their spirits and their minds and their souls through what you do through laughter. Pooja Talesara, thank you so much. You are a fantastic, leadership development specialist. You connect and you meaningfully with people around you, and we really, really appreciate everything that you do, all the way starting from young adults all the way to senior executives. And Charu, you are absolutely fantastic with what you do with uplifting women, giving them a voice, showing them how they can actually, make it, provide the world with an understanding of who they are as a person, what their personal brand is through what you do at Women Lines. And it's a pleasure for Create the Edge to actually partner with Women Lines as our digital media partner. So thank you so much for that, Charu. We really appreciate that. And lastly, but not the least, Kasturi Gunasegaran, thank you so much for being, as Joy said so succinctly, you are the molder of minds. And, with your work, as Create Tomorrow's People. There you go. And thank you so much for just being the educator, being that genuinely beautiful soul who actually has made it her purpose to touch the lives of people around the world, to make it a connected experience by unearthing the gems that are there in society. Joy, your last words.
My last words goes out to our fans and our guests who have come on and are coming on. Thank you is but two small words, but it's from our hearts, and it carries every single feeling that we have for making us where we are today, being able to use technology to make hearts and minds meet. Our fans, thank you for logging in. Thank you for being with us over this nearly 2-hour period as we've brought you these guests. And thank you for the CTE family for giving us an opportunity to learn and to use those learnings in what we do in our daily work. So from Yusuf and I, thank you and adios for the 50th part 1 episode. We'll see you at 11 p.m. Singapore time. Catch the second part of the 50th Golden Jubilee. Out.
Thank you. Thank you, Joy.